our own government has established that there are two countries that are eminently in danger of losing the government, of the government falling, that could damage the national security of the United States. Two, Pakistan and Mexico. That was determined a couple months ago. Because we did nothing. We have a wide open border. If the drug cartel takes over that government, the government collapses, you don't think those refugees aren't going to come pouring into this country even more so than they are now? And we cannot control our own border? And how is it that all those drugs, all those drug cartels got organized down there and more and more and more powerful? Because they had easy access to the biggest drug market in the world. Easy access. If we'd had a secure border all these years, the access wouldn't have been so easy. And maybe we wouldn't have such an enormous mess on our southern border. Afraid to do anything. To do anything. Take the issue of life. Our party claims to be pro-life. We have individuals in the in Congress who are there because of the work and the diligence of pro-life activists. Because they have told them, I will be there for the unborn. I will be a champion of the unborn. I am your candidate. The core of our party is a socially conservative one. That is where our strength is. And they have always been there for those candidates. And now, just think for a moment, an individual, a man or a woman, who is truly pro-life, as I am. That means that we believe that every single time an abortion occurs, a child's life is taken. We also believe that there's a second victim, and that the woman, the mother, suffers enormously, and that suffering continues very likely throughout her life. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy. All right? Now that's what I believe. And yet you get into a position of power and you're afraid to talk about it? What kind of character? What kind of person is that? Where you have leaders in our party, when we had the majority, who point blank said the issue of abortion is too controversial. Too controversial? Babies are dying by the thousands every day. It's too controversial. What kind of person are you that you can't use the opportunity you've been given by people who believed in you to help an unborn child? That you are silenced by the opponents. You are silenced by leaders in your party. That it's just not the right time to do anything. So we'll let a few more thousand, hundreds of thousands die until you guys get your courage. This is what I'm talking about. True leadership. That's not it. That's not where it's at. And you know, you may think to yourselves, oh, I'd like to be a leader in my life. I say to you, you need to be a leader now. We can't wait around for you to pick the time. This is America. And we are known throughout our history to have brave, courageous young people being part of making this country what it is today. And I don't know another time when we need you more dearly than now. And some of your friends, colleagues, are now doing that. They're fighting for this country overseas, risking their lives and limbs to defend this nation. They're not saying, oh, I'm going to wait a while. They're saying, there's a need, the country needs me, and I'm going to step forward. Well, you can do the same thing here. You can do it. And George Washington made it quite clear. The sacred fire of liberty, he said, is entrusted in the hands of the American people. The American people. He didn't say in the government. He didn't say in the leaders. He didn't say in the wealthy. He didn't say in the corporate America. In the hands of the American people. And he didn't say in the hands of the successful professionals. It's you all, as much as it's me. It's you all. And so, the second thing then, now that we've identified who the leaders are and need to be, you have to make a decision. Are you going to be one of the leaders in this country? Are you going to be someone that makes a difference? Are you just going to be somebody like many of your bosses who just goes along to make certain, that everything is smooth and do what they're told? Or are you going to be bold? Are you going to be courageous? So to do that, to make certain that you, who have all the best intentions of being the kind of person this country needs, can actually get there. And I'll tell you how it's done. The first is you make the decision. You make the decision. I am going to be a leader. And then you have to decide what issue moves you. Because in order to be a leader, you have to have a desire to move something, people, the nation, your community, whatever it is, in a certain direction. And so you have to define that direction on an issue. It starts generally with an idea, a principle, an issue. And so you pick an issue, pick any issue, but something that motivates you. Because you've got to start somewhere. You pick an issue. Maybe it's life. Maybe it's immigration. Maybe it's the war. Obama's given you plenty to work with. And you pick it and you start to study it a little bit. And those of you who go back to campuses in the fall, you are perfectly positioned to become extremely good at being leaders, young leaders. And that is, you've got to find people who disagree with you. If you're pro-life, you go and sit down with people who are pro-choice. And you talk to them. And you say, you're pro-choice, aren't you? How could you possibly support a practice that takes the life of a child every time? A baby's life. How could you? And they're going to say, oh, gosh. And think that you came out of some cave recently. And they're going to just look at you, because on college campuses especially, they don't hear this side much. And so then they're going to say to you, are you telling me, this is if they're at least been in tune with the issue, they'll use their best argument, that a 14-year-old raped by her dad should be forced to have the child? And you may say to yourself, I don't know if I'm for that. I'm certainly not about to defend it in this crowd. And you're going to become hesitant and nervous and not know the answer. And you know what? That's good news, because you're not ready. So you're going to go back and you're going to talk to some pro-lifers, and you're going to say, how do you answer this? Maybe you're not certain. Maybe you are a rape and incest exception. I'm not. Maybe you are. That's another position. You got to find that out. And if you come to me, I'll say, what's it matter? What's the conception? If it's a child, it's a child. It's always a child. It's not sometimes a child. And so we defend the right of that child to life at all times. But as I said, some might go with rape and incest. Well, then you head back. And you throw it out. When they throw that, now you got your response there. And then you're ready for an offense.